Hello everyone, this is Maria Almanzar. I'm here drinking my Arizona, a watermelon Arizona that my friend bought me. Tastes really good. I don't think I've tried this flavor, and if I have, I've forgotten how it tastes. It's really very good, and it keeps me very hydrated. And I know it's quite sweet, but it does keep me cool. It's been very hot here in Las Vegas, 115 degrees. I think it feels like 118 when you go outside. Haven't been able to take out my dogs because it's been very, very hot. And hot is very lightly. And yes, we still have our grasshoppers out there. At night, you see a lot of them. Grasshoppers have invaded Las Vegas. It has invaded Las Vegas. So we're going to have that for a couple of weeks. So hopefully they'll move along and real soon. So today, I'm just sitting here and thinking and hearing like motivational, like Trent Shelton, and there's a couple of them. Trent Shelton was one of them that was saying in the video about self-care and how when we take a time to set a time for us to take care of ourselves, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are selfish. It just means that we need to take time for ourselves to regain, probably, as I felt, even though they were talking, I felt like regaining your energy and taking care of yourself mentally and being aware that you need to take care of yourself mentally before you go around taking care of others, which in truth we should. Many people, like for me, for example, I take too much of my time, too much of my energy during the day. That's why I like, to do other things besides being here in my home, in my apartment, is I focus on people who really don't really bother even to say, how are you? And I feel that they only do it because, one, they're feeling sorry for me. Two, they feel like, well, she probably needs company in the sense that, we need to help her. And not in the sense that in a support system way, not in money wise. I'm talking about when you have a friend and that friend supports you, emotionally. Like, let's just say if you have a problem and that friend is there to listen to you and not really give their opinion on what they think. I do have a really good friend, and her name is Deborah Barnes. I'm mentioning her name because she really is a very good person. She's a very good friend. She's like a sister to me. But there's one thing aside from me having her, we sometimes, like me, I don't like to depend on my friends. I don't like to depend on my friends to give me anything or to think that they have to give me anything because, we're hanging out or because of the friendship or because we're close. I like to help other people. I like to, if we're out as friends, I like to help out my friends. I like honest relationships, I like honest friendships. I don't like friendships where that other person is doing all the giving, the giving, the giving, and then, doing all the talking, the talking, the talking. It should be balanced. Every relationship, of course, is not balanced, but in truth, it we should try to have a balanced relationship. It's very important, not only for the relationship, for the two people that are in a relationship, regardless if it's friends or boyfriends, girlfriends, live in, a companion, or husband and wife. It's very, very important. Even with your children, it's very important that communication always stay open so that you can better understand each other and that there's not an imbalance in the relationship. There always will be, but that you can always have the ability and the confidence to go back and know that you can talk to that person and feel like, you don't have to bottle things inside. Yes, not to divert from what I was saying before, self-care is very important. And very few people do it, like caregivers. Caregivers, they do not have, I believe that caregivers are a 24/7 thing, that, they are so focused on taking care of a family member that has been sick, or a mother or a father, that they don't take time for themselves. And when they do, they feel very guilty that they have, because they feel like, well, if I'm taking time out for myself, if I'm I said the title, but in truth is that if you take, care of yourself, self-care, and, rejuvenate or recharge yourself, or just to make yourself feel better, is not a form of being selfish. It's a form of, taking care of yourself, knowing that you are human, knowing that, that you too need a time for yourself, a space for yourself. And we all need that space. There are times here, I'm going to be quite honest, that, I get really, really depressed. Now, I know that I always talk about depressed, and I always talk about, awareness about depression. That's another whole different story. Like, I can go on and go to another thing and then come back. But, when you feel like in those moments that you feel depressed, there are times that, that you yourself can take care of yourself, and feel better about yourself. Because it really is, self-care is about taking care of yourself, feeling good about yourself, knowing that you are a person, a human being, knowing that, and acknowledging that you do the best that you can. Acknowledgement towards yourself, not acknowledging, that people have to acknowledge you and validate you and value you. No, you have to value yourself, you have to value what you do, and you have to value the time that you spend with you. Because no matter if you are taking care of other people, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of anyone, because in the long run, you'll get sick. Something will happen. Always remember this, that when we are depressed, our immune system opens up to a lot of sickness, because we are in a depressive state. Everything just either elevates or goes down. So when we are imbalanced, our whole system is imbalanced, because we are not balanced. We are like crooked, and we have to stay straight so that we can focus. Sometimes, yes, that when we are depressed, we are not focusing correctly, and we don't see things the way that it should be seen, or that, we have no focus, that we cannot focus on what others are saying to us, and we are just focused on what our mind is saying to us. And sometimes we listen more to our mind instead of the people who really care about you. So yes, self-care is very important. Even mentally, it's important. It's very, very important because a lot of the people who have depression come up with a lot of health issues, like I do. And we don't want to believe that, but in actuality, it is true. If we don't move around and we don't focus on positive energy and relieve ourselves from the negative energy, we eventually will become so depressed that we can fall sick. Now, like me, I have so many issues right now regarding my health. And so, do I feel like I need to move forward in order to get out of the depression? Yeah, sure. Like I've been in my depression mode now for a bit. And so I decided today that, I've been telling others, well, look, if you're on my page, reach out to me, reach out, I'm there 24/7, and I am. Um, if you need my help, I'll give you an advice. But guess what? I need to take my advice. I need to take my suggestions, and I need to take care of myself before I go out and, give out self-awareness, about depression. Because if I'm going through it, I most certainly should tell people, well, look, well, first of all, do I fear saying that I have depression? Absolutely not, because I feel like everyone gets in a depressive mode. Everyone goes through depression. Sorry, I need to recharge my phone. Everyone goes through depression. Lucky are you if you don't, because I do. I go through depression, and it stays for a while. And, lately, like last week, I was doing so well. I got up from my bed, and I was waking up early. But then I decided, well, I really don't want to do this, and, and we fall off track, of course. And that's not good when you fall off track and you're not focused. So that's what happened to me. I fell off track, I shifted my routine. I shifted my routine because basically I am a person that if I do routine, I don't like routine. I really, really don't. Then I become very, because I don't want, it becomes to me very stagnant. Like I have to do this and every day, and so my focus like it sways, and I don't want to do things routinely. I just don't. I am not a routine person. I just am not a routine person. I need to either switch it up or do something different, or just not do it at all. And which is really, really bad, because then what you set your mind and your goal to doing, it becomes just, it gets lost along the way. And so we don't want, I am here to say to everyone that self-care is very, very important. I need to take care of myself. I need to have that self-care mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so, here I am talking about awareness of depression. Like I said before, depression, if you have depression, come here to my page. But yet I am not following what I am preaching. And so I need to do that. So when I was hearing this on Facebook, I said, wow, self-care, this is very important. Like most people would never think that. Like caregivers, nurses, doctors, people people who dedicate their lives to taking care of others in a way that is 24/7, and they totally forget about themselves. They totally forget about taking care of their health or taking care of themselves mentally. We also need to re-energize most people who dedicate their time to take care of parents or take care of relatives who are very ill, forget that they, you know, forget that they have a life, that, they exist, but they're walking around like as if though they don't. So what it's like a walking zombie, but not knowing that they really need to take care of themselves because the energy zaps you. Then there are those that, yes, they have the energy, but they are hanging around with people who zap out their energy. I have felt that. Like I've always said in my videos, even from the beginning, I will only talk about what I have experienced. I have experienced people who can zap the energy out of you. And actually, they want that energy because you have a good energy. And so there are many things that we can do so that we don't, don't become a target for people who, need that energy. Like if you are a sunny person, set out to not, be aware of people who are not 100% for you. Be aware of people who talk bad about you. Be aware of people who do things behind your back, and then are with you like a fake. So we have to be very careful because you can find a million people who will want to do bad for you, who would want to see you not succeed, than people who want to see you succeed sincerely. So we go around trying to find approval, validation, that instead of us having the self-awareness about who we are, we seek that in other people, in which we shouldn't. Because the one thing that is so good is that about self-awareness is that people normally who have self-awareness are the people who are aware of their surroundings. People who have self-awareness are people who actually have experience or have experiences with people who, and they concentrate and they meditate, because I can meditate. There are people who can actually see through you. Their chakra is very advanced. And so spiritually they have a higher level of awareness, that they can tell if a person has a bad aura about them. Now there are those who walk around who have or need to cultivate, self-awareness. The only way to do that is to experience, go out there, travel. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this really truthfully. Walk barefoot, feel your ground, touch the earth. It is, and close your eyes when you do it, because it's really, really powerful. I know that it sounds really like, oh, she's going off, like she don't even know what she's talking about. But feel your surroundings. Feel your surroundings. Feel your surroundings, because self-awareness is that, and you can become balanced and in tuned with the universe. And you can be in tuned with people who also have the same, that same kind of thing, and an aura about them that you quickly, capture. And then there are those who walk around and are evil. And those are the ones that you have to be careful with, because those are the ones who hide their evil. Okay, and it doesn't take long for them to show their evil side. It really doesn't. So, those are things that you have to practice. I used to be. I know that people are not going to believe this, but I used to meditate. I used to do yoga. Excuse me. I used to meditate and do yoga, but that was way back when I was in my late 20s and 30s. Not in my late 20s, and in the beginning, in my early 30s also. I used to do a lot of meditation. And I used to exercise and do stretches and meditate. And that kept me so balanced. Reading is very good meditation as well. And people may not, it's a very good therapy to read, very good therapy. It also helps you to, open up your mind, uh, of creativity, the mind, the cell, the brains. It keeps it going, and it keeps it, circulating. But like I said, those are energy uppers. I call them, like, you don't need, you do not need drugs, or you do not need marijuana. You do not need none of that to actually do that. Now I am telling you that if you do this with your medication, I'm not I'm not going to say to anyone to stop their medication, because in actuality, if you are taking medication and you do this and you meditate and you go to a class, and there's also, they offer free classes. I'm not going to say that they don't, because I think that they do. I believe that they do offer free classes, take up dancing or some kind of stress reliever. And you will see how different you will feel, because you will feel balanced. You will feel like you have more energy, and you feel like you can be more focused and do things and do activities that probably you haven't done in a long time, like I have. So there are a lot of people who go around with very bad energy, trying to release that energy onto other people. And so they will stick with you because they know that they have a way into your energy. And that is something to be very careful. I know that a lot of people love to hug, and a lot of people love, I really try not to do that. I used to be that way until they checked my hand, this hand over here. And one guy told me, you know something? A lot of people don't believe in the fact that people who have bad auras or bad energy can actually leave the energy in you, and sometimes you need to release that energy in some kind of other form. But a lot of people don't believe that. I do believe that, and yeah, it may sound a little bit, hocus pocus or spooky, but it is true. I do believe that. Why do the chakras, shamans, spiritual people do believe in that, and they become masters at it, they become teachers at it, they become, masters at it, and they teach others awareness. Be aware of what others are saying, doing, because a lot of people who are out there, like I said, there's no way you will find someone who will want to do good for you. Very little. But there are a lot of people, so many people out there that want to see you fall, want to see you go down, want to see you in a place that they were once or are in. And yet they can't they can't take themselves out of that place. But they need to feel miserable. And in order for them to feel miserable, they have to have a victim, a prey. They have to have it, because that's how they get their energy. And if they see, oh, well, look, she's not succeeding, and I am in some sort of way, because I'm succeeding because I am seeing this person go through hardships, or I am releasing my bad energy to them so that they cannot succeed. So many people don't believe that, but I do. But the person has to really do a lot about that, on how we so much want to seek approval, or because we have problems, we think that we are the only ones who have problems, that we are the only ones that exist and having those problems. And we should open our minds, really, we should, even we should open our minds, that's why I say ours, we should open our minds to think that we are not the only ones that are on this planet that have problems. Like I said, there are a lot of people today who have died, a lot of families who are burying their loved ones. If you see, you can see in the news that there was a shooting in Gilroy, and I think it's called Gilroy, and a 4-year-old got shot. And so, we absorb all of that because we think, well, what has humanity become? What has humanity become to? Because we don't help one another. We don't, we are always fighting. And so a lot of the things that are happening in the universe really is things that we have to resolve, but also the fact that we need to bond together and love one another and take care of one another and not fight and not, kill one another. They say, like, if we don't have that, then if we don't have the bad, then there will be no good. And if we don't have the good, then we won't need, or we wouldn't have the bad. Yeah, but then what I see is a lot of things that are happening in this world that, in this world, what I'm saying is that we're seeing a world and a different generation and a different, a really different century, a different, we're looking at a time where nobody cares anymore. Things have so drastically changed, where life used to be so simple, and now we need computers, we need cell phones, we need the first, in thing, or, we need, but we need. The fact of the matter is we need. Do we really, do we really need it? Do we really need it that badly? I don't think so, because I remember the times where there was no cell phones and people were still living a very simple, humble, kind life. Not that the problems that are existing now didn't exist back then, and not that killings didn't exist, but it wasn't so out there. It wasn't so, how would I say, it wasn't out there, it wasn't so prevalent. Okay, nowadays, something happens, internet, the first thing that we see is the internet. Even before the news hits the TV, we are already seeing it in our internet. So before, we all used to sit like a family and listen to the news. Before, I remember that, before we used to sit around the table and look at the TV. And before colored TV came in, there was black and white. I remember my first TV that my stepdad gave me. And that was when Jimmy Carter won. I think that was Jimmy Carter won. And I got my first ever TV. And it was black and white. Yeah, I don't think it was a color TV. I remember very well. It was a Zenith. It was a Zenith. You remember the Zenith TVs? If anybody in here remembers this Zenith TV, write a comment, okay? Because that was the TV that used to be before, and they were very good TVs. I remember the radios. If anybody remembers the Zenith TV or the Zenith brand,
put a comment, because that is so old school. It's like really old. Like really, it's not even old school anymore. It's just like, like really, really old. And so, yeah, those times, were the good ones. Those times were the great times. They showed a video with a telephone. You remember the telephones and telephone. I'm not talking about cell phones. I'm talking about actual telephones where you had to put in, your the ear piece, not the piece, but the phone in your onto your ear in order to hear on the other side. Uh, so many things that make me smile because life was very simple back then. I remember playing hopscotch. I remember playing, oh my goodness, the hula hoops. I remember playing slinky. I mean, now it's just the kids are just so focused and so concentrated into the video games and the cell phone. And that's not a simple life. It's a very, very complicated one, and living in an age where we're just showing our kids that if they're not quiet or if they're not good, you know, they won't have the latest thing. I see many parents where the kid is crying, and just to make them be quiet, they'll hand them the phone with a video in it, which is really, really sad because we don't take the time to correct our kids. Not that I'm trying to tell you how to raise your kids. I have a grandniece, and we should always try to communicate communicate with our children through word of mouth, like talk to them, uh, speak to them that this is how we communicate as humans. This is how we communicate as parents and child, which is not seen today because we want to shut our kids up, so we give them the phone so that they'll be quiet. It's very sad how things have just expanded, and not in a very good way, you know. So, like I said, depression is not merely just depression. It's more than just that, and that we have to take care of ourselves. Self care is very, very important. And when I talk about self care, I don't mean just putting on the makeup. I don't mean just, fixing your hair, fixing your nails. But what I do mean is self care is to mentally take care of yourself, is just as important as how you look from the outside, is just as important of how you're feeling in the inside. And once you do that, we are not perfect, excuse me. We are not perfect. We will never be perfect. We can become perfect and imperfect human beings, but in order to reach that, we would have to be saints, and even saints have a history. Even saints, I'm sorry to say it, yes, they do. They have a history as to how they became saints. If nobody believes in saints, that's okay because each and every one of us has a different belief. I am not Catholic, I don't go to church. But guess what? That doesn't stop me from not believing in other things. Like, I have a Buddha here. Do I believe in Buddha? Do I actually, go by the Buddha religion? No, I do not. But I do have a Buddha in my house, and I don't have crosses. I don't have saints in my house. I don't have any kind of statue in my house because I actually want to be truthful. I do not like statues and stuff hanging on my wall unless it's a must. But anyway, what I'm going back to is like we need to take care of our inner self spiritually too. What motivates you? What makes you want to get up early in the morning and have a purpose? Everyone has to have a purpose. I don't care if you're helping people out there. You have that purpose. You have that goal that you want to help other people. What is your goal is for you to take care of other people. But in order for you to do that, you have to take care of yourself. And self-care is just not, like I said before, taking care of yourself from the outside, but also needing and having to take care of yourself from the inside. Remember that unless we don't take care of ourselves, as caregivers, if you are a caregiver out there and you are taking care of a family member and you are taking care of someone, or you are taking care of your mother or your father or a child, remember to step out of that for a while. You're not a bad person because you step aside and take care of yourself and take time for yourself. So that when you do come back, you will come back rejuvenated and refreshed. It's very important that we acknowledge people who take care of our family members who are very, very ill and sick. It is so nice to know that they can be supported, by other people. Mainly, caregivers are not supported by anyone, to tell you the truth. They mainly stay 24/7 with the people that they're taking care of. Because as of yet, I have not seen family members who really are support systems. Because what they do is that they don't want to deal with that. And so then they leave it to the one who actually volunteered or actually said, I will be responsible for this person. And so rarely do you see that. A lot of people don't want that kind of dedication and don't want that kind of responsibility or that kind of commitment. It's a very, very mind draining position to have or to be in. So you need to take time for yourself to say, look, I need someone to help me out. And it is okay to ask for help. Many of us who are in a depressed state don't want to ask for help. Many of us who are going through very difficult times with family members or even with a child don't want to ask for help. You should ask for help, because saying that, look, I need help, I need you to help me with this, is not you being selfish. It is you trying to take care of you and taking care of what you need to take care of, which is you, and taking time for you, which is self-care, which is taking care of you. Because if we continue to be this way, depressed people as well, if we continue to be this way, that is why we're feeling so overwhelmed with our thoughts. That is why we are feeling so overwhelmed with the things that are surrounding us. That's why we give so much attention to others, because we want to be acknowledged. We want to be validated. We want to value to other people. And which in fact, this is true too. People do not validate you. People do not value you. You have to do that on your own. And guess what? Who cares what other people say about you? Who cares what other people think? People don't pay your rent. People don't buy you clothes. People do not buy your food. So you to do that. And if your friend wants to, not validate you, and or doesn't, and needs to be reminded that, hey, look, I am a person just like you, and I just need you to help me, and you have to ask that friend, like, yes, okay, you have to, but not like, you don't constantly need to ask, because they should volunteer. If they see and they really are your friends, they would volunteer, and you wouldn't have to ask, because those are really the true friends that really, really care about your well-being. And so if they really are your friends, you would never have to ask for help, because they will volunteer themselves. Look, you need to rest, they will tell you. You need to rest. You need to take care of you. You need some time away from here, and you need to do this so that you can be a better daughter, a better friend, and a better family member, or whatever it is, or a better mother, to your child. You need to take this time to take care of you. And once we get into that mode of, or in that regimen, or in that in the routine, of all the time meditating, taking those 10 minutes, or even if it's just 15 minutes for ourselves, it's okay. It is okay. Once we do that, you will feel so much better, because all it takes is 10 minutes to really go somewhere and just sit and concentrate and just leave your mind relaxed and relieve yourself of all the problems that are surrounding you. All you need is that, to feel balanced again, to feel whole again, and to also feel whole in the universe. There's nothing more beautiful than for you to touch the earth, feel the ground, feel the dirt, like feel the dirt in your hands. That will help you to stay grounded. That will help you to feel and release those energies that you have. Let the earth take all those energies that you have that are negative, and leave it to the spirits, to whatever you want to leave it to, even to God, or leave it to Mother Earth. Remember, we are all connected in this universe. We are all connected through a thread. We all need to be connected, because if one thread is loose, then we will be imbalanced. If one of those threads are loose or they break, then we will not be, in unison, is what I'm trying to say. And like I said before, many of us have the same idea. When you see people congregate in one place, it's because we all unconsciously thought of the same thing. So regardless of what people are saying right now, that we are not connected to one another, and many people treat each other like they're not brothers and sisters, yes, we are. Whether we're white, whether we're black or colored, whether we're gay, lesbian, or gender, whether we're a man or a woman, whether we're a child or an adult. We are all connected. We are all connected in the universe. One love universe. We are all connected. motivational probably, but guess what? This is my version of it, and it's a good version. And because I love to talk and I love to communicate and I love, to help people out and to make them feel like they really belong in my channel, because I really want the people here to feel like when they come across my channel, they don't have to act, they don't have to pretend, they don't have to, how would I say, they don't have to press the subscribe button or whatever. They don't have to do that. If you want to leave, you can leave. And whenever you want to come back, you can come back. This is like a home from the internet away from your home, or a continuation of your home. Everyone here is invited and welcome into my world. Live with Maria's World or Maria's World. But you're all are welcome into my world. Regardless of how my house looks, everyone is welcome into my home, as long as everyone respects each other, loves each other, and takes care of one another, and has everyone's back, and not do things, to hurt one another, insult each other, demean, anyone in this page or in this channel. We all have to respect one another, and we all have to respect the beliefs of others as well. So if one is not agreeing, well, that is their opinion, and they have the right to state their opinion, because this is a channel. And so nobody needs to insult anyone, nobody needs to name call or bully anyone because of differences. But like I said, remember about self-care, and if you need someone to see this video, even yourself, or just, think about it, you are welcome to do so. Remember, this is Mawipa Social Media. Thank you so very much for tuning in. If you pass through this page, please share this video. There's nothing more that I love when people share my video. When you share my video, I know that, one, I am teaching someone, or two, I am trying to help someone, or three, I want someone to listen to my story. Because even though my story may not be so interesting, but I offer, some kind of knowledge and awakening, hopefully, and some kind of, advice or suggestions. And so as each day goes by, I think about my audience, and I think about what would they like. So drop it there, drop it on the comment. What would you like? What would you like me to talk about? Okay, so drop it on the comment section. Drop it on the comment section, okay? Everybody, peace out, take care, have a lovely week, and I will see you guys pretty soon. Also, check out the other videos. I went to see, I went to the Las Vegas Park MGM, got lost, thought it was the MGM, and it wasn't. It was the Park MGM, never had been there. And I went into the Haus, Haus, House of Las Vegas, House of Lady Gaga, okay, House of Gaga. And it showed all of her costumes that she wore from her concerts, from her performance, from awards, and I think that these costumes were not from the awards, but they also, were from costumes from all of her concerts, is what it looked like. So, it was so interesting to see, because it just recently opened, and I was so happy to see that. Yeah, I really love Lady Gaga, and I love the movie that she did with what's his name, Cooper, Brian Cooper, I think his name is, or Ryan Cooper, I think his name is. Okay, so it's either Brian or Ryan Cooper. Ryan Cooper, or I just know that it was a very good movie. I'm very bad with names, by the way. So that movie comes out and you haven't seen that movie, make sure that you see it. And another movie too that you guys should see if you haven't seen it is the Elton John movie that they recently made. And it was in theaters about a month or two ago. But it's a very good movie. A very, very good movie. Watch it. Okay? Watch the movie. It's very good. But anyway, and then I went to see Little Nas, and of course his song has already hit #1, and I think it threw over Mariah Carey's Sweet Day. That song can never be replaced with any other song. So I'm just gonna ignore what they said about that, because even though Little Nas did a very good job to his song, he can never, ever outdo Mariah Carey. We all know that she's a legend. So, and her songs are just like forever. So, yeah. I congratulate Little Nas, and his concert was the bomb. The bomb. I loved his concert. Loved it. So what else did we do? I hanged out at the pool. We had a little Christmas in July. Very, very fun. So guys, make sure that you see the video. All my videos or some of the videos. I know that some of my videos are long, but please take the time to watch my videos, okay? And if you really like it, share it, okay? So everyone, this is Maweepa Social Media. Take care. Also, Live with Maria. Make sure that you stay tuned. Another thing I forgot to say, if you are a local here in Las Vegas, on August 3rd, okay, Deborah Barnes, my best friend, will have a birthday bash for all Leos in the house. So if you are a Leo and you want to celebrate your birthday local in Las Vegas, please come down. It's a free entry. They will have drinks. We will be jamming to old school music, and we will be dancing all night. You don't even have to dress up or upscale. Just show yourself, present yourself, and let's have a great time on August 3rd, 8:30 to 12:30 a.m., okay? It's 8:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. at the Cabo Lounge Fiesta Rancho. At the Cabo Lounge Fiesta Rancho. We will be having Deborah Barnes' birthday, my bestie. Her birthday will be on August 3rd. So make sure that you come, okay? Don't have to bring presents. Just bring yourself, bring your friends, and let's have a great time. Everyone, this is it. Have a great evening. Take care. God bless, and peace out. Bye.